Welcome to Seoul. It's Korea's beating heart. 10 million people live in this capital city. Seoul was established over 600 years ago, having plenty of palaces and temples to prove this. A metropolis with such a high population density, combined with lots of age, has given Seoul a unique place in the world, a place where all things new meet all things old. As a student of urban planning, I wanted to know just how a city steeped in tradition and age is able to maintain its modern luxuries. Are these two overlapping cities in constant competition? Or could it be something else? So, I took an adventure to Korea to find answers. First, let's take a look back in time a little bit. Perhaps a little too far back in time right here. Back to the age of great royal dynasties and palaces. Americans as myself may not fully understand just how old the city of Seoul actually is, and how a city possessing so many relics of the past poses challenges to the modern planner. A modern city had to be built without disturbing the past, but this has never made the past irrelevant entirely. For an example, this palace gate stands next to skyscrapers. They exist in harmony. Pretty remarkable, right? Planners quickly learned that the past can stay alive through preserving historic aesthetics while adding modern functionality. This is how I believe harmony was created. For an example, this is a Baskin-Robbins. It has a new function, but the same aesthetic. This is what everything pointed to in my studies. Harmony between the two. To extend this harmony, I learned about projects underway to make the city's main boulevards more pedestrian-friendly. In doing so, planners actually decided to partially return to the past, a world where people controlled the streets, not cars. Projects like these continue, not to destroy the old and make way for the new, but to bring new appreciation to the past by making historic sites more accessible and therefore more appreciated. This is Jogaesa. Jogaesa is a 14th century temple which has been left untouched despite being in the center of downtown. It's accessible and therefore appreciated.
Let's talk about the Korean War, or more specifically, how it devastated the country, annihilating most of the infrastructure. This was Korea's transition between the old and the new. The Korea that we know today developed in the aftermath of destruction. In many ways, the war gave the nation a fresh start. A visit to the demilitarized zone would teach me about just how devastating war can be. But after this devastation came a new hope. There was a desire to rebuild, better than before. I saw innovation through projects that would become victories for the reconstruction of Korea, all aimed at leaving behind a new legacy. Projects for new construction and urban regeneration have continued almost daily in Seoul. The focus has always been on transforming something seemingly desolate to something usable, all while preserving something which will someday become old. I learned about how a large waste and dumping area was transformed into a public park. I was able to explore an area that was once a covered sewer and a two-storied highway, and saw how it was transformed into a public water attraction, helping to reduce the urban heat island effect. I was also able to learn about more intentionally planned areas, such as the parks in the newer city of Ulsan. And yes, I took some time to stop and smell the roses along the way. I saw technologies aimed at transforming and preserving the Earth itself, thanks to innovative zero-carbon buildings. Step it up, America. And I saw just how daring Seoul's new can be, with the DDP, which is now one of Asia's leading fashion hubs. Korea went from being war-devastated to being a leader in new technologies and innovation, always reaching towards new heights, sometimes literally, all while keeping touch with old traditional roots. All of this innovation started by giving an education and experiences to students like me. Students like us, who are the next new, who will someday be in charge of preserving the old. Let's learn to appreciate both sides, and understand the key, that the new and old don't need to compete when they can complement instead.